everyone. I'm Andy,
Yeah, and I'm Mark.
and this is Strange Stuff Podcast.
I want to know how many listeners know what OFC stands for in a message.
Of
It's just,
everybody. I mean, you're the
well,
one who
clearly not everybody.
you text all the time. You're like a fucking 13-year-old girl.
No.
Yes, it's impossible to actually make a phone call with you because you phone you up, and then you get a message back saying, I'll text you in a minute."
You must be thinking of someone else.
No, I'm thinking of you. Anyway, how's your mate Trump doing?
I think, I don't know. I don't know whether I sense that it's starting to unfold a bit.
I mean, this nonsense about Gaza.
Well, I mean, there's no arguing that he certainly played a role. There's no doubt about that. But
they keep calling it a peace treaty. It's not a peace treaty. It's a
well,
fucking
no.
fire.
Remember that's the ridiculous thing.
Before.
And when reporters ask, which is the obvious question, well, what happens now? He says, "Oh, we're going to make a beautiful place." I mean, what's he talking about?
Well, his idea, of course, is to displace everybody and build
Yes.
towers and a golf course.
No, you're right. So no, I mean, it's always the question. And the thing is that, well, of course, I'm talking about learning from experience, which obviously no one ever does. But yeah, now is what's going to happen. I mean, you've got all these poor people going up back to their houses, which are just rubble. I mean, what's going to happen to them?
Well, I mean, it will save him the cost of demolishing them to make way for his fucking hotel, won't it?
Well, you still need a bulldozer to remove the rubble. So, there's that going on. But it's not only that. I think even some of the MAGA crew are starting to see the cracks in, Boris Johnson was a perfect example of someone who only employed sycophants in his parliament.
God, his
and
article was so clean by the end of his term.
but literally, and that's unfortunately they're just all of these people. I mean, Hegseth, Bondi, Noam, is that her name? Christy Noam. 23-year-old influencers who are holding, head of the FBI and God knows that Kash Patel person. They're all the same. They're just sycophants. And
well, there is some better news. Do you remember a little while ago, well, a couple of years back, when the church was trying to pray away the gay, and they had these sort of refuges where they would try and brainwash people into being straight? It was quite a big scandalous thing.
Pray away the gay.
Yeah, basically they would take young gay Christians and fucking try and brainwash them into not being gay. It was a big thing, and you're one of the few people who's never heard of it. But anyway, I see today that there is some good news for lesbians, because apparently they have found a cure for lesbianism. It's
what the church has.
It's a new drug, in fact. So medical science is the one to thank.
This is going to have a punchline.
The drug is available in most bars and nightclubs, and it's called "Why Not Try Dick Again."
Why not try dick again? For God's sake. I wonder how many lesbians revert back to hetero activities.
Well, I don't...
Well, actually, no, that doesn't make any sense, because, a gay person is a gay person. They don't revert back to anything.
Unless you're a member of the Catholic Church, of course.
Yes, admittedly.
Be reverted.
Yeah. No, so, there's plenty going on, but to be honest, I'm trying...
Therapy, that was what it was called.
What?
Conversion therapy.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I've heard of it. I didn't know... Yes, I've heard of it, of course. In fact, isn't that banned?
Hopefully.
I think it might be banned. But to be honest, I'm trying to read less news these days. I'm focusing on getting the garden ready for the winter, honestly. And doing a bit of rowing exercise in the evenings. What?
Get the garden ready for the winter. It's just going to be covered in ice.
Yeah, but you've got to clear the garden furniture away. You've got to get the garden in order, so when the spring arrives, it's ready for action.
You're giving away your heritage, because clearly only people of your class put furniture outside the house.
Don't be ridiculous. Don't possibly propose that I'm the only one who has outdoor. Everybody in our street has outdoor furniture.
Yes, because you live on fucking spanky Millionaire Row on fucking Tracy Island with your helipads.
You've been here, haven't you?
An army of nannies queuing up to get onto your island.
The stupid thing is, some people probably believe you. If I told you that my next door neighbour, well, the house opposite me is about 25 square metres, that gives the listeners an idea.
That's not a house, is it, though? That's like a tool shed.
Well, no, but it's their house. It's a bit rude.
Sorry, 25 square metres?
Yeah.
That's smaller than mine. That's like half the size of my apartment.
Yeah.
How is the house that big?
Yeah, well, that's what they have. And then my other neighbours, it's 57 square metres.
Yeah, but the price of those houses is ridiculous, isn't it? Per square metre.
No, it's not.
Come on, you're like this, like. So you're living in Buckingham Palace, basically.
Well, you've been here. My house looks very modest because you can't actually see the what do you call it, subterranean floor?
The basement.
Yeah. With my marble pool and
friends.
No marble floors downstairs.
Oh, I have been up to your security gates and peered through and seen the opulence that you live in.
What do you mean you've stayed here? Even when were you here with Robin? That wasn't that long ago.
That was in June, I think.
Yeah.
I was with Robin actually on Tuesday. We went out for lunch.
How is the Robin? How's his Tesla going?
Very well, luckily, because he was doing the driving.
Good.
I had an appointment in town, so we met up for lunch. And we went up to our version of Nordet.
Yes.
And had lunch in where me and Teresa used to go quite regularly, and it was always really good food. But this week it was crap.
That might be to do with the company that you were with, as opposed to Teresa. You were with Robin.
Yeah, maybe.
And
him again.
What?
I won't be going out with him again.
And has he calmed down on his support for Donald?
I mean, we don't talk about shit like that, honestly.
No, probably very wise. How did you get on? Now, two open questions that I think you did on the live podcast the other day, or whatever it was. How did it turn out with the tax office, with that fellow trying to steal your identity?
Oh yeah, I mean, basically, they sent me a link, and it was basically just a questionnaire: does this dude live with you or not?
Right.
And there was no further action required. I just said no, he bloody well doesn't.
Yeah.
There was
all right.
Type in your own sort of comments, and I went,
yeah.
This man has never, nor will ever, set foot
across the threshold of my house. Well, I'm sure it happens all the time, actually.
Yeah, probably. I don't know if someone's just trying to pull a fast one with the Arcasa or whatever. I don't know.
I'm sure it's just someone who forgot to change their address, isn't it?
No, because they registered as moving in on the 1st of August or something.
Oh, I see. Moving in on the 1st of August. Yeah, all right. Okay, fine. Yeah. Yeah. And how did the meeting go? Are you all okay for the next 6 months?
Yeah, they're fine. And seriously, the most beautiful woman was looking after me.
Really?
She was gorgeous. And surprisingly, probably age appropriate. She's got a teenage.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything to age appropriate. What does that mean? She's 28.
Kid, so she's got to be over 30. But she was absolutely lovely. Anyway,
And when are you seeing her next?
6 months, I guess.
Oh, I see. So she is your handläggare, is she? Handleder, or whatever you call it.
She's my hand girlfriend for the next couple of weeks.
Yep. Oh dear. Yeah. No, but other than that, it's all is well. I'm suffering a bit of training ache. I don't know, what is that called in English?
Yeah, in Swedish, don't ever call it training ache, because that's what they call it when you've had a damn good shagging.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
Träningsvärk.
Yeah, that's what someone told me once.
Träningsvärk is what everybody. Maybe it's oh God, I've forgotten the word for it. An expression, yeah, whatever it's called. Colloquialism.
Colloquialism. Oh, talking of colloquialisms.
That's a difficult one to spell. Could you spell that?
Yeah. COLLOQUIALISM. Colloquialism.
I mean, to me, I would have got to C. And that would be it.
You could probably fact check me. There's a 90.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I'm not going to challenge you, that's for sure. Oh dear. Yes, no, I think that's about it, really. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty going on in the world. Well, of course, the ceasefire, you're right. That's got to be the biggest news.
I mean, who in their right mind believes that Hamas will ever surrender their weapons?
Well, no, but I mean, the thing is, the deal was there to be done. Hamas lays down its weapons, Netanyahu walks away from power. That would have been a perfect solution, and it would have happened. It would have worked. But as long as Netanyahu, the nutter, is in power, Hamas, the nutters, are going to remain there. And
why the hell did Keir Starmer fly out there? What the fuck has it got to do with him?
I mean, he was in Egypt, wasn't he?
Peace conference. With the only two people who weren't there were Israel and Hamas. What the fuck is the point exactly? They're just there dividing up minerals or what?
Probably. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, I don't know. I think, didn't Trump forget who he was, or something embarrassing happened?
Oh no, he sort of he was on the mic and he said, "Oh, we even got the UK here. UK, where are you?" And Keir Starmer sort of strolled up, getting ready to make his little speech, and Trump just turned his back on him and carried on talking.
Oh, really?
It was quite funny to watch. I had to watch it like 12 times.
I'm sure you did. I mean, Keir Starmer...
Like a spanked arse afterwards, old Starmer.
Well, he's not the most charismatic individuals, let's put it like that.
I mean, what was he doing there? He had nothing to do with anything.
What do you mean UK is a superpower?
Oh, fuck off. We've been providing weapons to kill the Palestinians for the last 50 years.
Not as many as the US have.
There you go and pretend that you've got anything to do with brokering any kind of peace. And
I think at some stage in the speech, didn't Trump say that the weapons had been put to good use or something? 40,000 dead children. Yeah, that's really good use, Donny. Well done.
Anyway, let's fuck this off, because no one tunes in to listen to us to talk nonsense. Well, that's not true, probably. But let's do this.
Can't hear it.
I pressed the wrong button.
Oh, God. You've been practicing all week. Try again.
Oh, here we go. Can you hear this?
No.
The gentle washing of waves.
Yeah, that's a bit subtle. I think I should explain to the listeners that as everybody...
No.
What?
Look, I'm just up in the game of this podcast, which is more than what could be said for some of us.
Oh, now I can hear the waves.
Okay. Well, we're going to go to a little island off of Nova Scotia, in just south of Halifax. And
That's Canada.
yes.
What side of Canada?
Just south of Halifax.
Yeah, but I've got to find it on the map so I know where I am.
Honestly, ask Nanny. She's probably been there on a sabbatical. It's quiet now, this small forested island. Seagulls cry, waves lap. This is my sound effect. Waves lap against this rocky shore. But beneath the soil lies one of the strangest and most enduring mysteries in North American history.
I think not.
You'll be changing your mind by the end of this tale, mate.
No, it feels like another Under the Pyramid story to me.
I'd like to thank Luke, not Luke, sorry, that was last week, Rick, who sent in the idea for this.
Hang on, Luke did last week. You didn't give him credit then.
I gave him credit the week before, and I forgot to do it last week, so I do apologise. But there you go. Luke last week, Rick today.
All right. Now, Rick is your old mate, isn't he?
No, yeah, we're mates, obviously, but he's the Australian chap.
Oh, right. Okay, fine. Right.
I hope. Otherwise, I'm going to get another angry email.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, anyway, this is Oak Island. And it's home to whispers of buried treasure, secret societies, lost manuscripts, a deadly curse, why not, that is said to claim the lives of those who dare to dig there. So today we're going to look at the full story, 2 centuries worth of obsession, tragedy, and tantalizing clues. Mystery that's equal parts history, legend, and true crime.
It sounds like a bloody great big island with all of this going on.
It's actually quite small. So,
what's that, cicadas?
yes, it's the gentle sound of summer insects.
You don't have cicadas in bloody Canada, for God's sake.
Just bear with my sound effects, okay? Now, it begins in the summer of 1795. A young chap named Daniel McGuinness, just 16 years old, is rowing along the Mahone Bay coast when he spots something curious on a small island, an area of disturbed earth, and above it, a strange old pulley block hanging from a tree. To McGuinness, it looked like somebody had been digging, and not just anyone. Someone who'd gone to great lengths to hide whatever it is they were looking for. He returned the next day with 2 friends, John Smith and Anthony Vaughan, and together they began to dig.
What's that? What's that? Someone knocking on the door?
No, that was my sound effect. I hit the wrong one again. Hang on a second.
God dear.
Here we go. Now we're digging.
What you needed to do was, rather than buy a bloody sound effects board, you needed to buy a sound effects board with someone who knew how to operate it to come along to help.
I've had sound effects since we started this podcast, but the thing is, my soundboard is so far away from me, I can't read which sound effect I've assigned to which button.
What the hell's going to happen when the cat arrives with his paws all over the various buttons?
Fucking madness. So, where were we? Oh, yeah. A few feet down, they hit a layer of flagstones. And then deeper still, in fact, at every 10-foot interval, they found layers of oak logs neatly placed across the pit, one on top of the other. It was meticulous and purposeful. When they reached down about 30 feet, the walls began to seep water. And the boys realized that they were literally in over their heads, and they abandoned the pit. But they'd started something that would consume lifetimes.
Oh dear.
A decade later, that story had spread through Nova Scotia and beyond, and by 1804, a group of investors known as the Onslow Company decided to finish what McGuinness had started. They redug the pit, finding the same oak platforms along with something new. Layers of charcoal, putty, and coconut fibre, materials that had no business being on a cold Atlantic island. At 90 feet down, the team made a breakthrough. One worker's pick struck something hard, a stone slab, inscribed with mysterious symbols.
What's that noise in the background now? Is that an aeroplane flying overhead?
It's the sounds of digging industry and men shouting. This is good stuff, mate.
Oh dear.
Get your money's worth on this podcast, I'm telling you. So the markings on this mysterious slab didn't match any known alphabet at the time. Some said they resembled ancient runes. Others thought they were more like Masonic ciphers. When they lifted the slab, their excitement reached fever pitch. The next morning, they began digging again.
Sorry, Andy. When is this? What year-ish?
1884.
All right, yeah, carry on.
When they began digging again, the pit suddenly flooded with seawater. And no matter how fast they bailed, the water became unstoppable. It was as if the island itself was defending its secret. I've got to look for my...
You should put little sticky labels on the buttons. Sea effect. This is excellent production.
Oh, hang on, I've just found something interesting.
You just found something interesting?
Whoops.
Oh no! Oh dear. Come on! Yeah.
This is bad.
Was that the X-Files?
I've mislabeled that one. It's supposed to be gushing water. Anyway, pretend you can hear gushing water. In the days that followed, the men tried everything. Buckets, pumps, even diverting streams. But the pit remained flooded.
Oh dear.
So they began exploring the island's perimeter, and that's when they made another shocking discovery. Along the south shore of the island, they found what looked like man-made drains. 5 tunnels, like channels, leading towards the pit and packed with coconut fibre and eelgrass. Someone, centuries earlier, had engineered a flood trap system deliberately designed to drown anyone who dug too deep. The question was, why?
Now, how did they know it was centuries earlier? It could have been 50 years earlier.
They probably dropped an iPhone or something and it was like iPhone 1.
So they knew when it was.
Yeah. Oh, there was a newspaper, The Sun.
You certainly don't get many coconuts in Nova Scotia, that's for sure.
No.
Do coconuts grow in America?
Possibly in Florida, in the south there.
It really is South America, though, that you get to coconuts, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway.
So that's not too far.
They were trying to work out if it was a booby trap to protect treasure or a theory or a decoy, to mislead treasure hunters completely. Whatever the case, the Onslow Company ran out of money and hope.
Oh no.
And by 1805, the money pit, as it was now called, was left to the tides.
No, it must be 1905. You said it was 1884 when I asked you.
I am blind. It was 1804. Sorry. So they were there for a year. So, I know I have a sound effect.
Was this a sound of disappointment? steam train.
It's kind of a steam train. It's like more a steam powered machinery. It was the closest I could get.
All right. It's quite good though.
So nearly half a century passed before the next wave of treasure hunters arrived. And this was the Truro Company. And they arrived with more advanced drilling equipment, and they reopened the pit in 1849. They used a drilling auger, a primitive but effective tool, to probe the flooded shaft. And at about 98 feet, the auger hit wood, then metal, then more wood, and finally clay. When they brought up the fragments from the drill, they found traces of gold chain links and what seemed to be pieces of parchment with faint lettering on them. Evidence, they believed, that a chest of treasure, perhaps gold, perhaps manuscripts, was buried deep below.
What do you think gave these people the idea there was anything of value down this hole?
Well,
I mean,
because of the way it was constructed, it's like, why would you build something like this as a folly? It's
unless you were protecting something.
purposely built to be a hideaway for something.
Well, if they found gold chain at the end of their drill, that's a pretty good sign, isn't it?
Unfortunately,
Oh dear.
it persisted, and without a way to stop it, the dig was abandoned yet again.
These people don't think very far in advance, do they?
The legend, however, had taken root.
Oh dear.
By the mid-19th century, the story of Oak Island was known throughout the maritime world. Newspapers reported it as both a cautionary tale and a challenge. People speculated endlessly about who might have buried the supposed treasure.
Yeah, who was it?
Well, some said it was Captain Kidd, the infamous
Kidd?
pirate who roamed the Atlantic in the late 1600s. Others believed it was Spanish treasure.
I'll tell you what, looking at the map, just to, you mentioned the Scottish bloke, Nova Scotia and that sort of east coast of Canada is not that far away. I reckon it's half the distance from London to New York, for instance.
Nova Scotia is named after Scotland.
Oh, of course. Sometimes you actually are able to connect the dots, aren't you?
Sometimes, if there's a big red line
with a fucking great big arrow pointing New Scotland.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Carry on.
Yeah, so some said it was Captain Kidd. Others believed it was Spanish treasure hidden by sailors who were fleeing British capture. And then, as the 1800s gave way to the Victorian era, the theories grew stranger and more elaborate. There were whispers of Templar knights.
That's cicadas. Ah, that's Templar knights.
Freemason rituals, even Shakespearean manuscripts hidden away by the philosopher Francis.
I don't think your router can cope with the sound effects because your voice is breaking up when you've got the sound effects in the background. Good try.
It's breaking up in your ears, but it'll be fine on the recording. But it
Good.
is. But at its heart, the Oak Island mystery wasn't just about treasure. It was about proof. Proof that something extraordinary had happened on this tiny island. Something people were willing to risk their lives and fortunes to uncover. By the 1850s, the risk became all too real. Multiple companies would dig, fail, and suffer accidents in their pursuit of the truth. And the deeper they went, the darker the mystery became. Because Oak Island wasn't just swallowing treasure hunters' dreams anymore, it was taking lives. By the mid-19th century, Oak Island had drawn a century's worth of curiosity and disappointment. But in the 1850s, that curiosity had turned to obsession, and obsession on Oak Island has a price. In 1850, a new group called the Oak Island Association took up the cause. They believed using modern technology and a little Victorian ingenuity could succeed where others had failed. The association brought pumps, engines, and the latest drilling tools to the island. Their goal was to drain the flooded money pit once and for all. But as they dug, something horrifying happened. At about 86 feet, a worker's shovel hit a pocket of soft clay.
Hang on, a worker's shovel?
Yep.
So they have taken the water out?
They've lowered to a degree. They brought pumps with them and hydraulics and things. Modern technology.
In 1850?
Yes, it was modern technology for then. Within seconds, though, the walls began to collapse inward. The pit filled with water and mud faster than the men inside could escape. Miraculously, everyone survived that day. But the warning was clear. The island was unstable, riddled with tunnels that acted like veins ready to flood at the slightest touch. So the team tried a new tactic: dig a parallel shaft beside the money pit and then tunnel across horizontally.
Is this where the expression money pit comes from?
Possibly. Yeah, why not? It's early enough. They reached a point where the two shafts should have met, but when they broke through the wall, a geyser of seawater shot out, drowning their worksite immediately. It was official. Oak Island was fighting back. By 1851, the Oak Island Association was bankrupt. And once again, the pit was abandoned to the sea.
But why do people keep digging? It's a waste of time.
The treasure.
For God's sake.
People have hunted treasure since time began.
Yeah, but if you keep doing the same thing and you keep getting the same results, isn't that madness if you're expecting something else to happen?
Each expedition gets closer and closer.
Well, 84 feet is not much in 50 years, is it?
But it could be the treasure is at 90 feet.
Yeah, well, no, they've already hit 90 feet with a bit of wood and some rock.
Yeah, but not with a human being. And don't forget, they got gold chain and manuscript come up.
It probably wasn't even real. It was probably a Ratner's rip-off.
Possibly. 10 years later, so 1861 now, another company took over. They believed that the treasure was closer, like I said, than anybody realized, just a few more feet down. But then, of course, tragedy struck.
Oh, no.
In 1861, a boiler used to power the excavation pumps exploded without warning. The blast ripped through the worksite, killing one man instantly and severely injuring several others. It was the first recorded death on Oak Island. The locals began to whisper. Not sure there was any locals. Must be in Nova Scotia.
And why were they whispering?
Because it was a secret, probably. They said that the island was cursed.
They've been drilling in this island for 50 years. It's no bloody secret.
No, but...
Yeah, there's buried treasure. Yeah, we know.
Don't tell anyone, right? He said that the island was cursed, that a legend had foretold 7 men must die before the treasure is found.
Ooh, and how many have died so far? Just one?
One. At that time, only one man was on that list.
And we're already at 1861. There's 6 more to go, poor fellows.
It wouldn't stay that way for long.
Oh.
Even in failure, Oak Island never failed to intrigue. A mysterious stone slab that was found decades earlier the same one marked with unknown symbols, had become a bit of an artifact of fascination.
What, did they drag it out of the hole, do you reckon?
Yeah. By now, it was said to have been displayed in a Halifax shop window, possibly a candy shop. I don't know.
And what happened? The candy shop burnt down or something?
Well, according to reports, somebody finally decoded it. And the translation allegedly read, 40 feet below, £2 million are buried. And no one could prove that the inscription was authentic or that the translation was accurate, because by the late 1800s, the stone itself had vanished.
Nicked. Someone had nabbed it.
Some claimed it was lost in a fire.
I told you.
Others said it was taken by the Freemasons or quietly hidden away by later treasure hunters.
These Freemasons get around, don't they?
They're worse than medical students. Fucking everywhere. Whatever the truth, the cipher stone became the first of many missing clues that would haunt the Oak Island legend forever.
I can't believe it. Can you prove that?
No, I can't.
What the hell is that? Who was that? Our American cousin?
I can't believe it. Can you prove that?
See, this is AI making you absolutely dispensable. It's basically just done your job and it's cost nothing.
You need to train him to say nonsense. That's complete bollocks. You need to train him to say.
Now, in the second half of the 19th century, treasure hunting became big business. Fortune seekers from New York to London read about Oak Island and dreamed of striking it rich. Among them was the Oak Island El Dorado Company. Now you know what's going to happen if you start calling yourself El Dorado.
It's going to go bust. It's going to go pear-shaped.
They took over the dig in 1866, and they found evidence of more man-made shafts and tunnels crisscrossing beneath the island, including some filled with clay and charcoal, seemingly to block flood tunnels. But their efforts ended the same way: cave-ins, floods, and empty hands. Then in 1897 came the Oak Island Treasure Company, perhaps the most ambitious effort of the century.
I'll tell you what, if this story doesn't end in a pot of treasure, I'm going to be bloody disappointed.
I can't believe it. Can you prove that?
Yes.
They drilled a new shaft and, according to reports, brought up something astonishing. A fragment of parchment, barely the size of a thumbnail, with 2 hand-drawn letters visible on it, possibly Y and I.
What's that? The sound of parchment?
I did have a parchment. No. Oh, we go.
For God's sake. Oy.
Yeah, was it part of a treasure inventory, a religious text, or a hoax? No one could say. But to believers, it was proof that something written, perhaps ancient, perhaps priceless, was buried below. In the same year, tragedy struck again. One of the labourers, Maynard Kaiser, was being hoisted out of the pit by a rope and pulley when the line suddenly snapped and he fell nearly 60 feet into the shaft. By the time rescuers reached him, it was too late. Kaiser became the second recorded death on Oak Island, another name for the curse to claim. It was said that from that day on, the island's workers never looked at the pit the same way again. Every creak of a pulley, every shift of the soil felt like an omen. By the close of the 19th century, Oak Island had inspired nearly as many theories as failed digs. We can go over a few of those, actually. One of the theories
I want to get to the bloody treasure.
But, you've got to work out what the treasure is.
Yeah, but exactly.
Was that either Captain Kidd or Blackbeard had hidden gold and jewels before their capture, and the elaborate traps were their way of ensuring that no one would find it. There was the Spanish galleon theory, that a ship carrying treasure from the New World wrecked off the coast and survivors buried the cargo inland. There's the Knights Templar theory, that the Templars, fleeing persecution in the 1300s, brought their sacred relics, maybe even the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant, across the Atlantic, burying them on Oak Island under layers of symbolic engineering. And then there's the Freemason and Rosicrucian theories, that Oak Island was a kind of Masonic monument, built to conceal ancient knowledge rather than gold. Then there was the Baconian theory. The philosopher Francis Bacon, author of The New Atlantis, had possibly hidden proof that he, not Shakespeare, wrote the plays attributed to the bard. The parchment fragments seemed, to some, to support this wild claim, although I don't think it's that wild.
Well, a bit of parchment with a letter Y on it. How does that support a claim that Francis Bacon, in fact, wrote Shakespeare's...
And the letter I. And
Yeah.
I could already see that in full it would have read something like, "You impertinent little fucker." My play.
I mean, it's just absurd.
Well, no, I mean, have you never heard that Francis Bacon is often rumoured?
Yes, but just finding a bit of old parchment with the letters I and Y on it doesn't mean shit.
Oh, that's enough for me. Oh, I would hang him, fucking Shakespeare, thieving little git. I mean, he was the son of illiterate farmers.
Who was? William Shakespeare?
Yeah.
Don't be ridiculous. He managed to get off with Gwyneth Paltrow. He couldn't have been son of an illegitimate farmer.
That's not real, Mark.
What do you mean it's real? I saw the movie. Of course it's real.
I need to explain real life to you. Now, by the end of the 1800s, Oak Island's reputation was cemented. It wasn't just a curiosity, it was an obsession. Newspapers from Halifax to New York called it the Money Pit Mystery. Writers compared it to Atlantis, El Dorado, and the lost mines of King Solomon. But the legend had a darker side. Hundreds of thousands of dollars had been sunk into the ground, and 2 men had lost their lives. Investors came and went, but the mystery only deepened. Every failed excavation added a new layer of intrigue, a new rumour, a new map. And beneath it all, the question remained. If there really was something buried here, who had gone to such impossible lengths to hide it? As the 19th century came to a close, Oak Island was scarred by dozens of shafts, tunnels, and debris. The original money pit's exact location was now uncertain. Yet people kept coming. Each generation believed that they would be the ones who'd solve it. They didn't realise that the worst was yet to come.
Oh no. So what do you mean? They've even lost the pit now, for Christ's sake?
Yeah, it's a bit careless. Because in the 20th century, Oak Island would become even more dangerous and its victims more numerous.
Well, we've got another 5 to go.
But it would also attract the attention of famous names, engineers, military men, and even a future US president. Probably Trump wanted to put a golf course.
I was going to say it was Trump digging for a bit of his coin.
Now, the island's curse had only just begun to take its toll. And as the century turned, the line between treasure hunting and tragedy blurred beyond recognition. The dawn of the 20th century brought new hope and new technology to Oak Island. The Victorians had left behind a landscape of collapsed tunnels and unanswered questions, and now the modern world was stepping in with steam drills, pumps, and investors who believed that they could finally outsmart the curse. But Oak Island doesn't give up its secrets easily.
I hope it gives them up at some stage, or I'm going to be bloody annoyed.
Yeah, the early 1900s saw a revolving door of treasure hunters come and go. Among them was Frederick Blair, a lawyer and amateur archaeologist who devote decades to the mystery. Blair's methodical approach led him to believe that the Money Pit was part of a massive underground complex, a system of flood tunnels stretching hundreds of feet towards the sea, and he wasn't alone. Over the years, more teams joined, some chasing gold, others chasing glory. But the most tragic chapter of the 20th century came much later in 1965.
Oh, a few years after our birth.
Yes. By then, Oak Island was being excavated by Robert Restel, a British-born engineer who had moved his family to the island to dedicate his life to the search.
What?
Yeah, what a wanker. I mean, what
Honestly.
a pioneer. For 6 years, Restel had lived and worked there with his wife, Mildred. I'm guessing she wasn't hot. His teenage son, Bobby, and a small crew. They believed that they were close, that they'd located the original flood tunnel system. Then, on August 17th, 1965, tragedy struck.
Thunder. They got wet.
Robert was working near one of the shafts when he was suddenly overcome by toxic fumes, likely from an engine exhaust that had seeped underground. He lost consciousness and he fell into the pit. His son, Bobby, rushing to save him, climbed down after his father, and then another worker followed, and then another. By the time help arrived, 4 men were dead, including Robert and Bobby Restel.
Oh, well, that is a bit tragic, but we've only got one to go now.
It was one of the worst accidents in the island's history, and the local papers called it the curse of Oak Island come true. So now the death toll, as you correctly surmised, was at 6. Only one.
I'm good with numbers.
The legend.
I'm good with numbers.
Before the treasure could be found. After the Restel tragedy, Oak Island's mystery drew a new kind of explorer, men with money, machines, and media attention. In the late 60s, David Tobias and Dan Blankenship, a Florida construction contractor, formed the Triton Alliance. They bought much of the island and launched some of the most ambitious excavations in its history.
They bought the island?
Blankenship was no ordinary treasure hunter. He was disciplined, experienced, and obsessed. And over the next 3 decades, he would pour millions of dollars into Oak Island, convinced he was standing atop the greatest hidden cache in history. The Triton team drilled hundreds of boreholes, mapping what lay beneath the surface. At a depth of around 160 to 190 feet, they found what appeared to be voids, timbers, and even traces of metal. Then, one of their boreholes, known as Borehole 10X, changed everything.
They found the treasure.
At around 230 feet, the drill broke through into what appeared to be a natural or man-made cavern. When they sent a camera down, the footage was grainy, almost ghostly, but it seemed to show wooden beams, chests, and even a human hand.
Oh no!
The world was captivated.
I bet it was.
But when the team tried to enlarge the hole to explore it, disaster struck again. The sides collapsed, flooding the tunnel and nearly killing one of the workers. Borehole 10X was sealed, but the legend grew.
What do you mean sealed? How can they bloody seal it if you've got a chest of treasures just waiting there?
Collapsed while they tried to enlarge it. to get men down.
But you dig it out again.
It probably collapsed and buried the cave. Some called it proof of treasure, others just another cruel trick of light and shadow. Even as failures mounted, Oak Island's allure only grew stronger, especially among the wealthy and powerful. One of the island's earliest modern admirers was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, decades before he became US president. As a young man in 1909, Roosevelt joined a treasure hunting syndicate that funded digs on the island, and he followed the mystery for the rest of his life, even writing letters about it from the White House. To him, Oak Island symbolized the eternal American pursuit, risk, reward, and mystery, and he wasn't alone. Other famous names reportedly took an interest. Oil barons, engineers, even Hollywood producers, but none succeeded in finding the treasure that Roosevelt dreamed of.
Until 2013, when
Oak Island had become more than a dig site. It was a story now, a riddle wrapped in history and fueled by obsession. By the late 20th century, new tools offered new hope.
Yep.
Ground-penetrating radar,
Yep.
imaging, and geological surveys promised to finally separate fact from fiction.
And
One study suggested that the island's mysterious flood tunnels might be natural limestone channels, not man-made booby traps at all.
oh no, but where do the coconuts come from?
Who knows? Maybe it was the monkeys.
They don't have monkeys in Nova Scotia, you
They
idiot.
don't have coconuts either, but for some reason they do.
You don't see monkeys in Scotland, do you?
Don't see coconuts in Scotland.
That's what I mean.
One study suggested that the island's mysterious... Yeah, sorry, I've done that bit, but you threw me. Another found evidence of ancient human activity, charcoal, iron and pottery, dating back centuries before the first settlers had arrived. And the lines between legend and archaeology began to blur. Some scientists proposed that Oak Island wasn't a treasure site at all, but rather a collapsed sinkhole, that the money pit was a natural feature misinterpreted by early diggers. Others disagreed, pointing to the sheer engineering precision of the shafts, platforms and tunnels as evidence of deliberate human design. And this debate only deepened the mystery. In 1965, the Restall tragedy had brought the curse's death toll to 6, but decades later, Oak Island finally claimed its 7th. In 1969, a man named Cyril Hiltz was part of a team exploring a newly dug shaft when he was overcome by the same toxic gases that had killed the Restalls. Despite rescue efforts, Hiltz died before he could be pulled out. So, 7 dead.
And you know what that means, don't you? Because the curse has now been lifted.
No, the curse has been fulfilled.
Fulfilled, all right, yeah, fulfilled. And so that means the treasure...
Legend, that means that only one thing, that the treasure, whatever it was, could now, at last, be uncovered.
Yep, exactly what I'm waiting for.
But Oak Island wasn't finished with its
Oh,
victims just
God.
yet. By the late 1990s and the early 2000s, Oak Island had become a cultural phenomenon. Books, documentaries, and television specials reignited public fascination. New investors arrived, including a pair of brothers from Michigan, Rick and Marty Lagina. I wonder what their nickname was at school. They had grown up reading about Oak Island in Reader's Digest as kids, and now, decades later, they had the resources to join the search. The Laginas, I can't say that.
Call them something else.
Rick and Marty brought a new approach, blending historical research, high-tech exploration, and relentless curiosity. And their work eventually became the hit television series, which is actually where Rick got the idea of suggesting this. He's watching it in Australia right now, called The Curse of Oak Island, and it's on the History Channel, and it premiered in 2014.
Oh, so we're pretty concurrent.
Yeah, I don't know, 10, 11 years.
10 years.
Through their eyes, millions of viewers watched around the world as the story unfolded in pretty much real time. The show documented new finds, coins, wood samples, fragments of metal, and even artifacts carbon dated to the 1500s.
But no treasure.
Some discoveries pointed to European contact centuries before Columbus. Others hinted at treasure, or perhaps something stranger.
Oh dear.
Whatever Oak Island's secret truly is, it continues to resist discovery.
No, I don't like the sound of the tone of your voice now. It feels like we're drawing to a conclusion.
200 years after Daniel McGuinness first found that old pulley block hanging from a tree, the money pit still hadn't given up its secret.
What, so all of that, 56 minutes to lead to nothing?
No, we're not finished.
Oh, thank God for that.
Despite sonar scans, expert dives, and millions of dollars in excavation, no one had found the legendary treasure or even proved it exists. But here's what
until
something unnatural lies below the island. Tunnels, cavities, and man-laid timbers that shouldn't be there. Foreign materials, coconut fibre, parchment, and metal fragments have been recovered from depths impossible to reach by chance. And every attempt to unearth the truth has been met with collapse, flood, or death. Coincidence? Of course. Oak Island has become a mirror for human nature, a story about belief, risk, and the line between persistence and madness. And even now, the hunt continues. But before you can draw any conclusions, you need to take a step back. Because to understand the Oak Island mystery, you have to ask not just how, but why. Why would anyone go to such lengths to bury something so deep, so perfectly hidden? What could possibly be worth centuries of death, debt, and obsession?
I think I'm going to have a word with Rick. Isn't it Rick in Australia who put this story forward?
Well, for more than 2 centuries, Oak Island has refused to give up its secret. Men have died.
Until?
Fortunes have been lost for it, and yet they still come. The question is no longer what lies beneath the island, but why this mystery holds us in its grip. Why, after all these years, we can't just let it go. So, the theories about what is there. The oldest and most popular points to Captain Kidd, the 17th century Scottish privateer turned pirate. Legend says that Kidd hid part of his plunder before his capture in 1699. And the value of that treasure, according to rumour, was £2 million, the same figure allegedly carved into the mysterious cipher stone found on Oak Island. Some researchers point out that
which disappeared.
Yes. Some researchers point out that Kidd operated along the Atlantic coast and had ties to Nova Scotia's shipping routes. The coconut fibres found in the pit, a tropical material, could have come from his travels in the Caribbean. But skeptics argue that Kidd's known haunts were far south of Oak Island and that no direct link connects him to Nova Scotia at all. So if not Kidd, then who? Another theory says a Spanish treasure fleet caught in a storm or under attack buried its riches on Oak Island before fleeing home. Supporters of this cite the layers of charcoal and putty as evidence of shipbuilding materials and the elaborate flood tunnels as maritime engineering. If true, the island could be a secret cache, a lost colonial vault holding New World gold waiting for a ship that never returned. But again, there's no proof, only whispers. Then you reach the most famous and controversial theory of all, the Knights Templar. the warrior monks of medieval Europe who were said to have amassed vast wealth. They invented banking, and they reckon that relics, gold, and perhaps sacred objects were hidden there before their persecution in the early 1300s.
What were they doing in Nova Scotia?
All worldwide.
Yeah, but why did they choose Nova Scotia?
They were like Jehovah's fucking Witnesses. They're everywhere. Some believe that the surviving Templars fled across the sea from their persecution. This would why they would be there, bringing their treasures and secrets with them. Their voyage, according to legend, led to Nova Scotia, where they buried the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, probably the fucking wooden goblet that Jesus drank his blood out of, and a host of other things that you can probably buy from Wish or eBay if you look hard.
Wish.
Genuine splinters of the original cross. The Templar cross of their voyage, led them to Nova Scotia, as I say. And it could be that apart from the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail, there could be documents which would be revealing the bloodline of Jesus Christ himself.
What?
The Templar cross, a symbol found carved in nearby stones on Oak Island, fuels that legend further. And the island's carefully engineered traps and tunnels, some say they bear the mark of the Templars or Masonic design, geometric precision, hidden symbolism, and ritual layers. It's part history, part myth, and pretty captivating. Then there's the Freemasons and Rosicrucian connection. The Freemasons, descendants in part of Templar tradition, valued secrecy, sacred geometry, and the idea of hidden knowledge. And some theorists believe that Oak Island is less a treasure vault and more a repository of esoteric wisdom. Perhaps,
it's more like a depository.
Yeah.
Or a suppository.
Perhaps the architectural blueprints of Solomon's temple or ancient texts preserved for future generations. Symbols reportedly found on the island, crosses, triangles, and a tree of life pattern of stone, are cited as proof. Whether that proof is real or imagined, it's undeniable that Oak Island sits at the crossroads of myth and mystery, and it's the kind that attracts both dreamers and true believers. Finally, for this episode at least, there's the strangest of all, the Francis Bacon theory.
But it's just people just dream up this shit. It's just complete nonsense, and I don't,
theory.
I bet you do.
Supporters believe the English philosopher and rumoured author of Shakespeare's plays buried proof of his authorship on Oak Island. They claim that the parchment fragments found in the pit remnants are of an Elizabethan-era manuscript sealed in chests to preserve them. It sounds absurd until you remember that the Baconian movement had wealthy backers in the 1800s who funded actual digs on the island hoping to prove it. Whether you see it as a literary conspiracy or a historical curiosity, one thing is clear. Oak Island's mystery has always been about more than gold.
But hang on a second, this Francis Bacon was English.
Yes.
William Shakespeare was English.
Yes.
How much time did they spend in Canada?
Probably had a winter shack there, a stuga. Maybe.
I don't think they did. I don't think William Shakespeare ever went to Canada.
He didn't have to, but Francis Bacon. Wasn't he also an explorer, Bacon?
No.
I'm pretty certain he was.
No, he was busy being something to the king.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was the royal philosopher.
No, he wasn't. He was the king's right-hand man, wasn't he, Francis Bacon?
Yeah, but, I mean, as a philosopher, a man of wisdom.
I mean... No, I'm sorry.
Well, the legend of Oak Island's curse, that 7 must die before the treasure is found, has haunted the island for over a century. And to date, 7 men have indeed lost their lives to that search. Each death tragic and senseless. and it's fueled the island's aura of doom. Skeptics dismiss it as a coincidence, the inevitable result of dangerous amateur excavations in unstable ground. But believers, they see a pattern, a warning. Some even claim to have witnessed strange lights, heard whispers in the night, or felt the earth vibrate beneath their feet, as if the island itself were alive.
Oh my God. I've got a solution. I've actually got a plan now to solve the mystery.
Really?
We've got someone who likes going down tunnels. I think we should send Elon Musk down there.
In his purpose.
Mini submarine.
Yeah,
He's got a mini submarine, Elon Musk, hasn't he? He had one in Thailand, so it's not too far to send it across to Nova Scotia, a man of his resources.
Possibly.
I think we should put him in it, in fact.
He's a bit too lardy, I think.
And just drop it down the 100-foot hole.
Modern science continues to probe the island's secrets. Teams have been using ground-penetrating radar, Muon tomography, and drone mapping to scan deep below the surface. Results suggest the presence of unnatural voids and metallic signatures in multiple locations, not just the money pit, but beneath Smith's Cove, Borehole 10X, and even near the swamp that bisects the island. Some samples date back to the 1400s, long before European settlement, which could mean that pre-Columbian explorers reached Nova Scotia, the Norse perhaps, or Templar refugees centuries ahead of their time.
I think this whole story is a man-made void.
So 230 years, dozens of companies, millions of dollars, 7 lives lost, and still the Oak Island treasure remains undiscovered.
Yeah, but you forgot to mention an hour of our time as well.
That's
an hour of my life.
That's what we do. That is our purpose. But maybe that's the point. Maybe the real treasure isn't gold and silver. Maybe it's the persistence, the human hunger to uncover the unknown, even when logic says to stop. In a world that's mapped, digitized, and explained, Oak Island remains one of the few places where mystery still breathes. It reminds us that belief itself has a power, the power to build, the power to destroy, and the power to endure. Standing on the island today, you wouldn't guess at the labyrinth beneath your feet. It's just trees, grass, and the smell of salt air. But beneath that soil lies a story that spans empires and centuries. A story written in mud, blood, and hope. Even now, the search hasn't stopped. Rick and Marty Lagina, their team of engineers and historians, continue to excavate methodically, each season revealing fragments of the past. They've found coins, tools, wood dating back to the 1600s, and pieces of chain, bone, and parchment. Nothing definitive, but enough to keep the legend alive. Viewers around the world watch, season after season, waiting for that moment when the Earth gives up its secret. Maybe it never will. Maybe the treasure was never meant to be found. Maybe Oak Island is just a mirror, showing us our own reflection, our greed, our hope, and our need for wonder. So on a foggy morning in Malone Bay, if you listen closely, you can still hear the sound of shovels striking rock. Or maybe it's just the waves against the stone.
Come on, sound effect. Shovels, waves. No, that's the Knights Templar. No.
News.
That's news.
Just in.
Yeah. You are shite at operating that machine. What you need is a voice operated.
Either way, the island keeps its secrets. 2 centuries on, Oak Island remains what it's always been, a story about people who believed they could dig up the impossible. And perhaps that's what makes the difference and makes it priceless. Because the real treasures of Oak Island isn't buried in the ground, it's buried in the hearts of those who keep searching. And this has been the story of Oak Island.
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Rick. For me, it was fascinating stuff. Obviously, Mark doesn't get it because he's got his own treasure island. Not impressed by 2 million pounds. I'm a bit
Where did they get the figure of £2 million
from
from?
the stone. It was deciphered that they would find
What?
2 million pounds, which is coincidentally the amount of treasure that Captain Kidd had amassed. You don't listen, do you? I mean, it was all there.
It was all
Our listeners will pay more attention.
clearly.
Possibly not. Anyway, thanks all for listening.
Yep, that was a good one. Well done, Rick.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. And we'll see you again next week with another story. In fact, I think next week will be our Halloween episode.
Oh, God.
Which means if I can't find a decent enough story, I'll probably just have to make one up.
Well, you often do, it seems.
Absolute nonsense. I've never made anything up in this series. So thanks for joining us. Have yourselves a strange week.
Yep.
And if you go treasure hunting, don't go to Oak Island because it looks like it's sort of dug out. So try somewhere else. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Very good. Bye for now.